Good morning, friends. Good morning and Happy New Year. Today is January the 2nd of 2024. It's the very first time that I am walking. I am in the Cap Smith. This right here is called the Cap Smith, I believe, Cap Smith Park. It's in Fort Worth. In Fort Worth. It's somewhere on the border of Fort Worth and Wataga. I don't know if you can see, there is a tank up there that says Wataga. It's not a very big park, but it's a beautiful park nevertheless. Right there, I usually bring my daughters during the summer. There is a splash pad, so they like coming there to the splash pad. As I already said, today is January the 1st, and I'm wishing you a happy and blessed 2024. This is the first walk of 2024, the first walk and pray session that we are having, and I'm wondering whether we should start from number 1 or we should just continue on calling it day, whichever day it is. But I'm thinking maybe now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, maybe we should start with day. No, we shouldn't, because then it will be confusing. Because if I start day 1, you know what? We just continue on and say it's day. What day is it? Day 13. Day 13 of the walk and pray. And I hope you guys are excited about 2024. As I am, because I woke up and I was excited. The temperatures right now are 34 degrees, which is a little bit cold, and the time is 8:56 a.m. It's a good winter morning. No complaints about it. I think something is in my shoe. Maybe I need to get it out. Yesterday, most of you don't know, but yesterday was my birthday. Yes, I'm a New Year's baby. So I celebrated yesterday. I celebrated my birthday yesterday. But guess what? Today, I want to start fasting. And my plan is to do it for the rest of the month. So today, I just want us to talk about fasting, because I know most of us may want to fast, and so I think it's a good thing. For those of you that did not plan on it, I want to encourage you to really give it some consideration and see if it is something that you want to do. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I think you should. In the past, when I thought about fasting, I had never thought it in the way that I am going to tell you how to think about it. Something that really, at least when we talk about fasting at the beginning of the year, I'm going to share with you that. But first, it looks like something is in my shoe. Let me take that out, and then we'll continue with the conversation. I think that is better. Now, before I continue with the fasting, let me kind of go back a little bit and talk about the walk and pray. For those of you that don't know, it is just a place where we walk and we pray. So we are kind of tackling two things, right? We are tackling the physical part of our lives, which is, like walking so we can get in better shape. The whole idea why I wanted to do this, I wanted something that will help with my health, at the same time enjoy the outdoors, nature, and also use that time to spend it with God and also connect with people. So it's kind of like a thing that helps me get different aspects of life. Sometimes we say we don't have time. Good morning, sir. Sometimes we say that we don't have time, but really it's not that we don't have time. It's sometimes that we just don't manage our time well. So I figured I could use this time to kind of hit different aspects of the things that I want to hit. And so that's why we do walk and pray. So my whole plan is also to see how to help and encourage others in these two aspects of spending time with God, of praying, and also of, I know people, especially at the beginning of the year, have these goals of getting in shape and becoming healthier and maybe clearing their minds. I remember there's a time when our pastor was talking about that one of the problems nowadays is people are lonely. So I wanted a place where I can be able to just hold kind of a conversation with people, connect with people, so that there is that aspect of somebody you listen to that is just like a friend or a brother having a conversation with you. So that's why I'm hoping that in the future, probably when people start watching the videos, they will be leaving comments. I will be responding to those. And maybe, who knows, maybe we will even start making, lives where we can really be on with each other as we walk for a short period of time and just have conversations where we are connecting with each other as brothers and sisters in the Lord. So I just wanted to make sure that I point out that. Now, if you go back and listen to the other walks that I've done before, you know that my goal is to walk 10,000 steps a day. But I want to say that that's not going to be my goal for this month, of course, because of spending time in fasting. I don't want to still keep that goal of 10,000 steps. So I'm going to cut that down to at least 3,000. Now, there are chances that I'll be doing more than those 3,000, but we'll see as time goes. But my goal is to just keep it at 3,000. So like right now, from what I understand, when I mapped out going around this small park, it showed that it is about 1.6 or 1.2? I don't remember, but it's a little, I think it's about, I don't remember, but it's a mile plus, right? So I'm like, okay, if I go maybe 2 times around it, that will give me the 3,000 steps. I don't know. So we'll see how many steps I will get like in 2 miles. So I'm thinking, I think like 2 miles should give me about 3,000 steps because I realized that 5 miles, about 5 miles, close to 5 miles or 5 miles gives me the 10,000 steps. I think it's 4 point something gives me between 4 and 5 I get that 10,000 steps. But so I'm thinking maybe like for 3,000 I should be able to get that in 2 miles or even less. So we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to point that out for those of you that don't know what Walk and Pray is about. It's about the spiritual, it's about the physical, it's also about the soul, because as we talk to each other, I share with you what's on my heart, books, movies, stuff. So we are kind of hitting spirit, soul, and body. So going back to this topic of fasting, I intend to fast starting today all through the month of January. And before, I used to look at fasting, especially this beginning of the year, like most churches have, they encourage people to fast at the beginning of the year. And I used to, just fast because the pastor said we should fast. So it was, yes, I knew that it was to seek God, but I was also just doing it because I want to be obedient and to be in line with my pastor, right? And And so that is what it was for me usually, mostly. But then I had about the principle of the fast. I had never heard about the principle of the fast. You know, like not F-A-S-T, but I'm talking about F-I-R-S-T, like number one, fast. I know my pronunciation is different from sometimes the way we are taught and the English we speak, sometimes you can't differentiate the sounds unless you think about it in context. So I'm not talking about F-A-S-T, I'm talking about F-I-R-S-T, the fast. So the principle of the fast is learning to give God the first place and knowing that God can only take the first place. It's the same kind of principle when it comes to tithing. When you talk about the first 10%, it's not any 10%, but it's the first 10%. When you read the book, The Blessed Life by Pastor Robert Morris, he's the one that really I learned this from, that really kind of hits it hard, talking about the fast. Like, he hits it really hard to the point that if you may think, oh, that is too much, but when you really understand it and you grasp the importance of it, it is really powerful. And so when I learned that principle of the fast, I'm like, I want this to be part of my life. Because when you understand that God does not take any other place, He will not take any other place other than number one. He's not like, oh, let me first do this and then I will do that. That's why you see in the Bible, there's where Jesus was calling some people and they're like, oh, let me first go and bury. Now, when you think about going and burying your father or what, I don't remember, was it taking care of the father or burying or what? When you think about it, it is something that is noble, right? Humanly speaking, it's a noble thing. But yet Jesus said, you let them bury their own, is it let the dead bury their own dead, something like that. In other words, the things that when you think about them, the way Jesus replied or the way God deals with them, they sometimes feel like they are unfair if you think about them from a human point of view, but that is what it is. You have to understand that when it comes to God, we are not dealing with a democracy, right? It's not like God is trying to, excuse me, I'm watering because it's cold. It's not like God is trying to get your vote, no. And so we have to understand that God, you either give God, I'm sorry if the camera is moving around, I'm trying to get my gloves on. And today you realize I didn't put on my harness, being the very first vlog of 2024. I wanted to talk to you directly, but I will go back to where I'm putting it on and I don't have to hold it in my hand. But what was I saying? Yeah, when it comes to God, you either give Him first place or you don't give Him any place. He doesn't take any other place other than being number one. When I understood that, when you understand that, that means when you start the day, you want to make sure that you are giving Him the first part of the day. It doesn't matter how long, but you come out of bed, you want to put it into your mind that you come out of bed and you appreciate and say, Father, I thank you for the blessing of this day. This is the day you have made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you because you've watched over me as I slept. And so I'm bringing my body to you as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto you. This is the reasonable service that I can offer unto you. I fully submit my life to you. Have your way in me. Here I am. Like, you get out of bed with those words. I'm not saying those exact words. I'm saying you just realize that when you wake up, you want the thought that God is in control, that you are giving God control of your life. You want that to be the thoughts with which you wake up. When any other thought comes up, You want to first put that thought aside and just know that God is the priority of your life. For those of you that don't know about tithing, you want to make sure that when your money comes in, when you are paid, when you get money, the first thing you do is take off the tithe. It is the first, not that you pay the bills first and then you think of the tithe later. No, you just want it to get into that system. And you start to learn to train yourself to get that system, those things into your system. When you get, it could be that maybe when you get at work, the first thing you want to do is to say, Father, as I start this work, I'm offering this work day before you. Again, like just having that mentality of the principle of the fast in everything that you do, to give God the first. So that's the reason why I am now doing the fasting, FAST. That's why I'm doing the fasting at the beginning of the year. It's no longer just because I want to be in agreement with the church, with the pastor. I want to be a team player, quote unquote. No, now I do it with that understanding that, okay, the principle of the fast. So when it comes to the beginning of the year, fasting, I am now doing it because of the principle of the fast. I am saying to God, God, here I am. The year is beginning. I want to acknowledge that everything concerning this year, I give to you, I surrender to you. I want to know your plan. I want to tune into you. I want to know your leading. I want to get understanding. I want you to reveal to me the time that I'm living in, the season that I am in, what you want to do in my life. In other words, you are just surrendering the year. So that's the number one reason for my fasting at the beginning of the year. Now, it's up to you how many days you choose to fast. For example, our church is not going to start fasting until maybe is it the 14th, or I don't remember, but it's some date a little bit far. And I'm not sure why, but I think most of maybe they're waiting for some people who traveled, people to settle down, like they've been through the holidays. I think that's the reason why they do it that way. I'm not sure, by the way, why they don't start right away, but I think that's the reason. But I know that our pastor, I think, started yesterday. But for me, I'm like, okay, today the 2nd is a good day to start. Our church is going to be fasting for 21. They fast for 21 days. I am planning on just fasting for the entire month, so that I am giving the entire month to God. And so it's up to you. It depends on how your church fasts. If you're going to be fasting with your church, or if you're doing it as an individual. I think it's all about why you are doing it. So understanding the reason behind it is very important, because you have to remember that God does not, that God looks at the heart. Your intention is the most important thing. And so from the very beginning, make sure that your why is something that is in line with God, right? Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. You don't have to do it. No one is forcing you to do it. But I'm saying it's good for you to sit down and figure out, should you fast, and why should you fast? And so for me, I've given you my reason. My reason is very simple. I am following the principle of the fast. I want to surrender the first month to Him. And in doing that, what I am asking for is, I'm asking for wisdom and understanding, just like I shared in the last episodes that we have of the Walk and Pray. I want to know the time in which I'm living, the season in which I'm living. I want to know His leading, His direction for my life. And so, why fast? The other reason why we fast is really to tune into God, to we are kind of putting down the body and elevating the spirit, because what we want to do is most of the time we have a lot of stuff that we are listening to, that we are reading, that we are involved in, and most of that stuff is to do with the everyday life, right? But what we want to do through fasting is to kind of quiet all these other parts of our lives and bring about the sensitivity of the spirit. In other words, what we are trying to do is to kind of increase our sensitivity in the spirit. So my encouragement to you is, if you choose to fast, make sure that your intentions, as you do it, that you are doing it, that it doesn't turn out to be just like a diet thing where you are just doing it maybe to lose weight, or you are just doing it to pass time, or you are just doing it to say that you are part of it. Just make sure that you are tuning into God. How do you do that? What you want to do is to pay attention, especially when you are starting out. Pay attention to what you are doing, right? So for me, usually what I do is these first days, the first 3 days tend to be kind of the challenging days. They tend to be the days where I really feel hungry a lot, days where I'm really falling back into my habits. And so the first, kind of like, I would say the first 3 to 5 days, I am really paying close attention to my habits and breaking those habits. And also there is this right now, there is this knowing, because I have fasted before, there is a knowing and an understanding of the challenges that come with it, especially when we are talking about these long fasts. But what I like about it is, because they are longer, is that it's not like I'm only fasting for 1 day. When you're fasting for 1 day, you want to make the very best of that 1 day, right? And so you are trying to fight hunger, but at the same time, you have these habits, but at the same time, you are trying to tune into. That can be challenging. But for this longer fast, what I like about them, it gives me an opportunity, like for the first 3 to 5 days, my concentration is like breaking habits, because I already have habits, maybe like being on my phone, being on YouTube, trying to listen to stuff that is not necessarily helping me spiritually, reading stuff maybe like that is not helping me, maybe the news. Like I'm so involved in all these other things that are not really contributing to my spiritual growth, that I'm trying to break. So during these first days, the first 3 to 5 days, I am paying close attention to all those things, breaking them. Every time I am trying to reach for my phone to do something, I'm learning to say, no, I can't do that. Every time I'm trying to maybe listen to the news, I'm like, nope, I'm not going for that. I'm taking inventory of how I'm spending my time and trying to break those habits, because those are things that I've been used to doing, and so kind of my mind and my body just tends to go for them. It wants to go for drinking and eating every moment. So those are the things I'm trying to break. And then I know that because I drink a lot of sugar, right? I drink a lot of sugar. I like drinking tea and coffee. And because of that, I know that now it's going to be a challenge breaking that, right? And so I know that, at least from experience, that really, because I'm trying to break that, I get headaches. I have now to increase my drinking of water, which I'm not so good at drinking water as I do drinking. I drink a lot of tea and coffee instead of water. So now I have to turn that around. So I know that my first days, my 3 to 5 days, is trying to change habits, is trying to break habits. And so I prepare for that. Now, the good thing for me right now is that I'm starting this while I'm at home. So if I need to take a nap to kind of, deal with those headaches or whatever, it will help me out, because I'm not going to be at work until Friday. So that works in my favor. But the whole point I'm trying to make is you know yourself, and knowing what you have to deal with helps you a lot, because then you are not being taken by surprise. If you already know the challenges you are going to have to deal with, you prepare mentally and you say, okay, I know it's going to be challenging these first days. I'm going to want to eat. Your body is going to tell you it's dying if it doesn't eat. Just remind it that no, it's not going to die. You have a lot of fat on you. You have a lot of stuff on you that it can use. So just remind it and tell it to shut up. So you are just, the first days, just prepare for the battle and prepare to push through. Just decide ahead of time. Make up your mind and say, I don't care what the body says. I am giving God the first of the year. I am pushing through. So having that kind of mindset, knowing that it's going to be challenging the first 3 to 5 days, helps you a lot, because it's not taking you unexpectedly. So for me, I'm already preparing for it. I'm like, whew, I'm already, preparing for it, because I know what a challenge is going to be. But I also know that after that, I'm picking up new habits. So the whole idea is not to just give up old habits. The whole idea is also to replace those habits. In other words, for me, now learning to drink water. When I'm drinking my tea or coffee, to do it without sugar. Those are the things now I'm trying to work on. So these first days, I'm replacing the bad habits with the habits that are going to carry me out through the fasting. So I am, if there are foods that I'm not supposed to eat, knowing that I'm not supposed to eat those foods. Drinking water, knowing that now I have to drink a lot of water. I don't want to listen to, the news. Trust me, if there's something that you need to hear that is very important, you will hear it. You don't have to have that TV on every day and every time. So breaking those habits, getting off of social media, getting off of TV, and now just putting on worship music, spending time in the Word, praying, reading the Word, listening to sermons. Now those are the habits that you are picking up, because those are the habits that are going to help your spiritual life, your spirit grow. If there are places you've been going to that you shouldn't go to, you start cutting down those places. Instead of socializing with people, you want to separate yourself and just be with God. You want to put on, if you've been listening to any other kind of music, you want to turn that off. You want to put on Christian music. One of the things that people don't do a lot, we don't do a lot, is we are constantly trying to hear and to listen to stuff. Now listen to me. It may even be good stuff, like it may be Christian music, it may be sermons, but sometimes you want to even switch everything off and just listen to God and just spend time talking to God. Just be quiet. Sometimes you don't even have to be listening to something. You just have to learn to be quiet without listening to anything, without speaking to God. Just be quiet. Just be still. And in that stillness, what's going to happen is, because your mind has been used to listening to stuff and putting in stuff, it's going to be shouting a lot. It's going to tell you it wants to hear something, it wants to do something, and just learning to quiet it down and remind it that no, I just want to hear what God is telling me. I just want to hear what God is telling me. And so learning to quiet your mind, is very important. So those are the things that you want to be focusing on this first week. And as you focus on those things, things will start to change. Your habits will start to change. Your spirit will start to, to take control. Your body will start to learn to obey you, because it's realizing that, okay, I'm not getting my way. Your mind, your soul, right, is going to start to know that now It's no longer the body and mind in charge. Now it starts to learn how to pick up signals from the spirit rather than picking up signals from the body. Because remember, it's all about what we give attention to. So right now what we want to focus on is giving attention to the spiritual things, to the spirit man. We want that spirit man to be in charge so that we can be able to hear what God is saying to us. So I just want to encourage you that the first days, first and foremost, realize that when we talk about fasting at the beginning of the year now, it's not just that you should fast at the beginning of the year, but I'm specifically talking about the beginning of the year. When you talk about fasting at the beginning of the year, for me at least, it is to do with the principle of fast, saying that God, you are first in my life. I'm giving you, I'm putting you first at the beginning of this year. That's the principle I'm following. Secondly, when you start to fast, choose how many days you're going to fast. Now, it doesn't mean that if, say for example, you say that you're going to fast for 7 days, it doesn't mean when it's the 7th day you can't extend it. If you feel led to extend it, you can always extend it. But choose a period you want to fast and then go for it. When you go for that period, understand that it is going to take time for you, because there are habits you need to replace, there are habits you need to break. So go in as a fighter. Go in understanding that this is a fight. The body is going to fight, the enemy is going to fight. Everything that can go wrong is going to try to go wrong to stop you, because it knows that you are trying to tune your spirit man. So going in with that understanding is very important, because then you put on this mindset of winning, this mindset of saying, I'm not going to give up, this mindset of saying that I am in this to win. Victory is already mine. I know what the end is. The end is that I am victorious. And so even as I go into this, I know it's going to be hard to start with, but I'm going to push through it. And so you determine to push through. Now, when you push through, after 3-5 days after the first week, you are going to see a breakthrough. You're going to realize that your spirit man is going to start to be in charge. That's why it is, I advise that you make it a little bit longer. And if you choose, even at the end of the days you had thought of, if you want to extend it, you can always do that. But for me, what I want to do, instead of doing 21 days or what, why I want to know that I have the rest of the month, one is because I'm saying that the entire month is God's. Secondly, it's because I know that the first week is going to be a week of it. I may not feel like I have gained a lot spiritually speaking as I would want to, but I still know that I have gained something in the spirit by making the resistance that needs to be made, by making the determination that needs to be made. When you go in the book of Daniel, it says that that day Daniel set his eyes to seek the Lord, his prayers were answered. That's why I said that it's very important to have the right attitude and intention, because as soon as you put that right, that very first day, heaven starts to look towards you and in anticipation of the time, of how you're going to fight, of how you are going to win, because everything now, angels are being sent out to help you, right? Angels are sent out to help you. Everything is working for you, not against you. So you have to understand that things are working on your behalf, not against you as a child of God. Because from the time you make up your mind and you set your mind to seek the Lord, his ears are open towards you. Heaven and earth, the heavens are all, like cheering for you. They are not against you, but they are cheering for you. But you have to also understand that your flesh and the enemy are trying to fight against you. So the first days may be challenging, but do your best to make sure that you are standing firm and you are fighting on. Again, as I said, pay attention to the habits that need to be broken or need to be replaced, and start replacing them. Avoid stuff that that kind of are habits, right? Pay attention to those stuff and break them off. If they're not helping you spiritually, break them off. If there are friends that you need to walk away from in this period of time, just let them know that you have to attend to something, and don't go visiting, don't go socializing. Try as much as possible to separate yourself from anything that that is not really helping you spiritually, whether it's watching TV, whether it's social media, the things that you eat, the things that you drink, all that stuff. Now, when it comes to eating, like people are like, what should I eat, what shouldn't I eat? I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not so much into for me, the way I look at fasting, I'm not so much into that's going to be your personal decision on what you want to eat and what you don't want to eat. People talk about Jewish fasting or Daniel fasting. That is really going to depend on what you feel is working for you. And here is why I look at it that way. If, for example, you decide I'm going to go on a dry fast, I'm not going to eat anything. And for you deciding that, at the same time you are not spending time with God because you are always complaining of headaches, or you are always hungry to the point that you can't even read your Bible, then what's the whole entire point of fasting? So I say that to say that you have to differentiate when your body is making noise just because of the habit. Because most of the time, it's your mind that is trying to deceive you that you are hungry. It's just because these are habits that you and I have formed over the years. We just eat without thinking, or we think that, if we don't eat a meal, then something is going to go wrong. Or whenever we feel a little bit dizzy, it may be because we haven't been drinking water, but we think, it's because I haven't eaten. I mean, there are many reasons that you may come up with as excuses. So you have to determine when it is an excuse, so that you don't fall for that excuse, and also know when it is a necessity that you really need to eat something or drink something. It's also going to determine it's going to be, your health is going to determine all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not the going without food that is important. It is the turning towards God that is important. So it's not the hunger that determines whether you are tuning into God or not. It is your heart posture. You're going towards God. So don't pay more attention to the body needs. Pay attention to the spiritual needs. That's why you see, when it comes to the eating and what kind of fast I should do, for me, I am saying that's not the most important thing. You are paying attention to the wrong thing. What you want to focus on is you pushing towards God. And for me, what I've realized is my denying the body what it is craving for. There's a difference between what the body wants and what it needs. So for me, it's to do with the mind and also denying the body. When I learn to do that, my spirit will get more power. But when I get to a point, there's a point I get to when I feel like, okay, this isn't denying God. I mean, denying the body. Something is off right now, because there are times when I feel like I'm not even tuning into the spirit. I'm just like, it has become now more of I don't know, I forget the name, like a hunger strike. It's no longer fasting spiritually, but this is a hunger strike. If I feel like something like that is coming on, I will disorganize my body I'll give it something small, just kind of to disrupt it, to bring back the attention that my focus is on the spirit man. So I'm not one of those strict people who say, when we talk about spiritual fasting, it has to be a dry fast. This is how you're supposed to do it. No, what I'm saying, remember, you are trying to break habits. Your body, you're trying to break habits. And you are trying to push into God. The most important thing that you have to remember is you want to focus on your spirit having control. You want to focus on pushing into God. It's not about the body. It is about the spirit. So if you really focus on that, you should be good. All right, friends, I have done it 2 times. That should do it for me. Let me see how many steps I've been able to put in. I'm thinking it should be 3,000. Let me see right here. Oh yeah, I've done 4,000 plus steps. So that gives me what I need for the day. I don't want to expel all my energy. And one thing I've realized, that if I do that, I will start feeling hungry, and then my temptation and my fighting is going to be hard. So I'm trying not to do that. All right, so let's just pray. Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to start a new year. It is just an opportunity for us to come before you and to say that we thank you, because in you there is time and seasons. And so we thank you for this new year. Today is the 2nd of the year 2024, and we are expectant. We are expecting good and great things. We know that there is something that you are doing in us and through us. And so right now we just want to surrender to you and to say that we know and we want you to be number one in our lives. You are the priority of our lives, and so we are giving you first place. We are giving you first place. And so for every brother and sister of mine that is coming to you in prayer and fasting at the beginning of this year, I just dedicate ourselves before you. We are asking for wisdom. We are asking for understanding, that we will know the time and the season that we are living in. We are asking for strength. And so we thank you, because we know that, Lord, when we choose to look to you, you are the God that hears us. It is your pleasure. You desire for us to come to you. And so we are saying, here we are. We are coming to you because we want you, because we need you, because we want to walk in your ways. We want to be pleasing to you. And so we surrender and submit ourselves to you today, the 2nd, saying that this month, we are offering this month to you. We invite you to work in us. We invite you to do your will, to perfect us in every way, to the glory of your name. We love you, Father. Holy Spirit, we love you. We surrender to you. Jesus, we love you, and we surrender to you. In Jesus' great and mighty name, amen. All right, friends, I will see you tomorrow in that will be day 14 of the prayer and walk. Again, I encourage you to stay strong. I'll be coming in probably for a number of days for the rest of this month, just to encourage you to keep the course and not to give up. So we just thank God for that, and until next time, stay blessed. Bye-bye.